Hey everybody, thank you for watching Leaf by Leaf. Today I want to talk about a very lyrical and profound, beautiful book by Carson called Autobiography of Red. This was a YouTube subscriber recommendation by Kristian Hoff. So thank you so much. Kristian Hoff recommended this book on my video of 10 short books I love, and his recommendation and the way he described the book as unmissable, basically, for short books, or really now I see any books whatsoever, compelled me to order it that day. So here's some thoughts on this beautiful little book. It's from 1998. It is a coming-of-age tale centering on Carson, who is a young boy and also a red-winged monster. Now, if you don't know about this, you may immediately think, okay, this is some kind of fantasy. But really what it is it is a blending of ancient Greek myth and contemporary culture. The way that Carson structures this book is very nice for what it is. We have three narratorial layers, as I call them. We have Carson, who is the poet author, or the real person here. And then underneath we have Synesthesia, who is a real Greek poet. This is a real person, and he is the biographer who captures the autobiography begun at age 5 by Carson. And this is the mythological tragic character. Synesthesia wrote the Caryonias, and also both Dante and Virgil included this character. And in fact, Dante and Virgil in the Inferno ride upon his back. What amazed me about this work is that Carson was able to sustain a very high, sublime poetic mode while actually delivering an engaging narrative, which is really hard to do. It's usually one or the other, and on the one end of the spectrum, you risk bewildering your reader. Some people like that, of course, and on the other end of the spectrum, you risk parody. Where you will easily get labeled as purple prose. So yes, lavish language, sensorial imagery. So let me give you some examples. On page 36, we get this beautiful screen door image that took me right back to my childhood in southwestern Virginia. He would remember when he was past 40, the dusty, almost medieval smell of the screen itself as it pressed its grid onto his face. So notice the anthropomorphism, or personified screen door, where it is not Carson pressing his face against the screen, but rather the screen pressing its face against his. All throughout, inanimate objects and in the world are alive. Page 42, this is a profound moment and a beautiful rendering of that moment when a young boy, a son, or rather a mother, experiences that separation from her son because of the first love that comes into the son's life. He burned in the presence of his mother. "I hardly know you anymore," she said, leaning against the doorway of his room. It had rained suddenly at supper time. Now sunset was startling drops at the window. Stale peace of old bedtimes filled the room. "Love does not make me gentle or kind," thought Carson, as he and his mother eyed each other from opposite shores of life. From opposite shores of life. It's a tragic and melancholy moment, but rendered so deftly by Carson. Page 55, Again, the personification of natural events, but rendered so beautifully that you can feel them happening to yourself, not only to your physical body, but to your soul. And it's just a simple sentence. It says, "He stood against the wind and let it peel him clean." Page 60, I feel that any writer has experienced this, but I've never seen it rendered or described so beautifully. So this moment between, sleeping and waking, it says, "This was when Garion liked to plan his autobiography in that blurred state between awake and asleep, when too many intake valves are open in the soul." Here's a description of an urban setting. Garion is walking through, this crowded urban street, and I really expected it to talk about smells that filled the air, but listen to the verb she uses. "Smell of salt fish and latrines furred the air." And in fact, this sort of synesthesia comes about in this vivid description of the synesthesia that Garion himself experiences. On page 84, "It was the year he began to wonder about the noise that colors make. Roses came roaring across the garden at him. He lay on his bed at night listening to the silver light of stars crashing against the window screen. Most of those he interviewed, people for the science project, had to admit they did not hear the cries of the roses being burned alive in the noonday sun." Turning away from the poetics of the book and just focusing on the aesthetics of realism, listen to the way that Carson renders spoken word with all of its scattered thoughts and digressions. And this is spoken word. This isn't stream of consciousness, as Faulkner or Woolf would have it. "Maybe she said cakes and tea. True, we were drinking gin. It was long past tea time. But she was a highly original woman. I was praying God let it have been cakes and tea. I'll tell her my anecdote of Buenos Aires. Those Argentines so crazy for tea. Every day at 5, the little cups. But she drifted away, the little translucent cups like bones, In Buenos Aires, I had a small dog, but I see by your face I am wandering." I highly recommend Autobiography of Red. It's a short book. I would have read it in one sitting. It was so enjoyable, but alas, turkey, or rather the tryptophan, had affected me in such a way on Thanksgiving that I couldn't help but get heavy-lidded. So I had to put it down and read the second half of it the next day. But I will definitely be reading this again soon. There's so many depths here, and realism is rendered at such heights that you get that sense of Homeric splendor. And in fact, I love this. This is humorous because of the longevity that's introduced, but the view is basically that Homer set the precedent for poetics until Gertrude Stein broke through it and paved a new path. But listen to this. This is talking about Stesichorus, the real Greek poet, who came maybe like 200 years after Homer. It says, "He came after Homer and before Gertrude Stein, a difficult interval for a poet. Yet following in the wake of Gertrude Stein is Anne Carson with this magnificent book." And it actually made me think about this by Friedrich Holderlin, and it is Hyperion, and it has the same kind of feel to it. I've never read it. And thankfully, Archipelago Books continues to put out these great little works, including all of Mein Kampf by Karl Ove Knausgaard, which I have in the complete hardcover set, I'm proud to say, from Archipelago. But this is in the same way. It says that this is a novel of startling lyricism, philosophical sublimity, and enduring influence. And it's about a Greek hermit, and it looks like he recounts his phases of life from the discovery of the vanished glory of antiquity, and so on. So it sounds like it's that same sort of blend. And so Autobiography of Red has put this on my radar next. Thank you again to Per Kristian Hoff for the recommendation, and keep these coming, because you guys and gals are helping me to discover some great literature. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.